My name is Tracy Williams. I'm the national leader for America First Coalition. We're here with Ron DeSantis to ask him a few questions about his upcoming race. Ron, we would like to ask you a few questions in regards to Florida.
Sure.
When you become governor for the state of Florida, what legislation would you like to see the House and the Senate pass in order to help you make better decisions for our state?
Well, I think that there are three areas that we can tackle immediately. One is job growth. We need to build off what Rick Scott's doing. I'd like to see us cut some of the business taxes because I think that would make Florida even more competitive. Two is education. I'm a big believer in education scholarship accounts, particularly for people come from low-income families. Everyone should have a chance to get a good education. And then the third thing is we need to fix our water problems here in Florida. We're working with the Trump administration to get the federal component of this reservoir. I'd like to get that accelerated so that we can stop polluting the water in the Caloosahatchee and St. Lucie rivers.
With the Senate and the House being so contested against each other to get any type of legislation through, how will you as a governor unite our parties?
Well, look, I mean, you just have to demonstrate leadership. I think the good thing about being governor is that if you're somebody who has the capacity to lead and the willingness to lead, you can move the needle. If you're like a Charlie Crist where there's no leadership, well, things aren't going to work out well. But I think if you identify core things that you want and you put your capital behind it, I'm confident that we'll be able to get that stuff done. I think the House is going to have a robust agenda with Speaker Oliva, but I think that the Florida Senate will be amenable to a lot of the things that are coming out of the House this time.
You have several different appointments today. You've gone from Miami to Sarasota. Where are you going next?
I'm going to Northeast Florida next, so I'll be on, if this puts on soon, I'll be on with Judge Janine Pirro tonight.
We are so proud of you, and you have America First's backing, support, and endorsement.
Thank you so much for that. It means a lot.
Hi, Ron. So I'm the state leader for Florida. I'm Alexander. So I just wanted to ask you a couple questions in regards to Florida and D.C. as well, because you still are a congressman. Sure. So how would you help the infrastructure in the state of Florida? As you know, a lot of people are moving here from D.C., from Virginia, from New York, and they're permanently moving here. So how can we help with the expansion of that, with the help of our roads, maybe fix I-4 corridor a little bit better?
Yeah, no, look, I think Central Florida is going to be a big need because it has more capacity to grow than some other parts of the state. And I want to work with the Trump administration. He believes in streamlining a lot of the red tape. I think that we pay all this gas tax money. Let us control some of that and let us do some of these projects without having to waste all the money in red tape. If we could do that, we'd be able to get this stuff done much quicker. Instead, now the things are constantly under construction. It's frustrating.
Now, also tell us your accomplishments as congressman and how you're going to implement those same accomplishments as governor of Florida.
Well, I ran saying I would do certain things, and I went to Washington, and I did them. I didn't change like a lot of these politicians do, and so I think people will know that the agenda that I'm sketching out for Florida is the agenda I'm going to pursue when I become governor, and I'm not going to hide the ball. I'm not going to, break promises like, that's what you owe voters to do. So we will do that, and I think people will say, you know what, this guy said he was going to do it, and he's done it.
So you are also part of the Freedom Caucus. The Freedom Caucus, their big things about draining the swamp. You're pro-Trump all the way. As you know, you also are part of the House Judiciary Committee, and we had a testimony with Peter Strzok. We also, you interviewed Rod Rosenstein in open testimony. Do you believe in the impeachment of Rod Rosenstein, or do you believe that he should retire? And were you one of the 11 people that pushed for his impeachment?
Well, I think he needs to be held accountable. The easiest way to do that is what I'm in favor of. I think it'd probably be easier to hold him in contempt of Congress. Not saying he doesn't merit removal, and I think he's had a conflict of interest this whole time. And I've held.
Can you explore those explain those conflicts of interest that Mueller and Rod Rosenstein have?
Well, Rosenstein is supposedly overseeing this investigation about whether Trump obstructed justice by firing Comey when he wrote the memo saying you should fire Comey. I mean, it's incredible. And then we have the issues of the FISA abuse, and we're trying to get documents on that, and he's supposedly the gatekeeper, but yet he signed one of the FISA extensions for the Carter Page surveillance, which we've seen has been very problematic. So he should be recused. I asked him to recuse, and he said he won't recuse.
When do you think the Mueller probe is going to end?
Well, I mean, I think it should end, but I don't know the answer to that. I mean, Rosenstein has not done anything to rein this in. He's basically let Mueller do what he wants, and that's not the way you conduct these investigations. He should have demanded, he shouldn't have done it to begin with because there was never an underlying crime, but he should have had it wrapped up by now. And the cases that they're doing with Manafort have nothing to do with the campaign.
But when are they going to implement a special counsel against Hillary Clinton? Because there's a lot there. And even President Trump said during the campaign, we need to deal with her situation immediately.
Well, I mean, I've been pushing for a special counsel for almost a year now. At the end of the day, Congress we don't have the authority to appoint it. It's got to be appointed by the Justice Department. And I think Sessions should appoint a special counsel. He's not been willing to do it yet. And I think that's been a big mistake.
Do you also support Congressman Jim Jordan for Speaker of the House?
Sure, absolutely.
And tell us why.
Look, Jim is, he's a champion wrestler. He's tough. He's principled. And if Jim Jordan were Speaker, we'd get these documents tomorrow because he fights and he would dig in. And so I think it would be great. I mean, I think all the lobbyists would be quaking in their boots if Jim Jordan was Speaker. I mean, the swamp would immediately start to drain. And I think that's what we need. The business as usual. I mean, although we've gotten some things done, a lot of that's been in spite of the current orthodoxy, not because of it. Jim would mark a change where you're really standing up for taxpayers and really fighting the swamp day in, day out.
So one last question for you. Let the voters of Florida know who you are. I love the fact that you are up in D.C., you're fighting for D.C., but you're also fighting for the voters of Florida. Let the voters of Florida know that when you run for governor, when you win for governor, how are you going to help the people of Florida?
Well, I'm a native Floridian. I was born and raised here. I love the state. It matters a lot to me. It's one of the reasons I've been able to be successful. I'm the only candidate running for governor who's a veteran, who served in Iraq, the only candidate who's a principled leader, who's actually taken on special interests, and I'm the only candidate endorsed by President Trump. So that makes me much different than everybody else who's running on both sides of the aisle. And I think people will know that as governor, I'm not just going to have a title, but I'll actually be a leader.
Thank you so much, Congressman Ron DeSantis, running for governor of the great state of Florida. We are America First Coalition, www.americafirstcoalition.org.